Welcome to another NAACP forum. Today we have with us, Familiar Face Around Town, Linda Belzardi.
Hi, Ozzy. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Let's do a little bit of history on you, because I think we have enough new people in town who may not know you. I don't know why they wouldn't, but still there could be. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Born and raised here. Graduated from Brockton Public Schools. Went to Syracuse University. Graduated. Came back to Brockton. Spent some years working actually for Continental Cablevision, doing the news across the street in the building. Then ventured off into public relations and have been at Bridgewater State College as the public information officer for the last 13 years. In terms of civic service, I spent 6 years on the planning board and then was elected in 1997 to Ward 4 seat, held that seat for 4 terms, then ran for councilor at large in 2005, and I've held that position for 2 terms, and now I'm a candidate for mayor.
You want to make that big step all the way up.
I'll make the big leap.
What makes you qualified to be mayor? The basic question.
What makes me qualified to be mayor is the experience that I've had within the city, serving in city government. I believe that I have a commitment and a drive to do the job. I believe I have a passion for this community because of the amount of time that I've spent here, which is almost my whole life. And I just feel that the time is right for me, both personally and professionally, to do this. And I'm prepared to take on the task. I understand it's a difficult task, but I'm ready to do it.
That sounds great. Issues around town. I'll let you speak to them, and then if there's any that you leave out, I'll ask you.
Okay. I guess the first issue that concerns a lot of individuals citywide is the potential power plant to be located on the south side. And I was one of the first councilors who came out in opposition to that plant. And the reason being is that both for health and safety, I feel, to me personally, I have concerns about the health and quality of the lives for the folks that live down in that area. But also, I think just in terms of location, while it has, I understand it has the transmission lines and the gas lines and the kinds of things that make it an ideal location for that plant, I just feel personally, for a city this size, with this density that we have, that it's just not the right location for that. So, so I have been opposed to that. And I know it's been difficult because all the unions, it's union jobs, it's jobs at good wages for a limited amount of time, for the time that it's constructed. Then after that, it's not a lot of jobs. And it doesn't mean that I'm anti-union. I would love to work with the unions on finding any other kinds of projects that would bring them work. I have great respect for union people. My mother was in a union. She was a phone operator. I understand that they want to be working. That to me is just not the right project for us. So that's one of the things that I think is a big issue right now.
Yeah, that's one that concerns, I guess, a number of towns, not just Brockton, because there's some neighboring towns. And truthfully, as the wind blows, it does make an effect one way or another across the whole city. People forget, they think of, it's down that area, but if the wind changes direction, which it quite often does around here, it could be all the way back up into the north side or over on the west side. It could end up in any part of the city without any problem.
And not only that, but even the impact of the chemicals and the various components that are going to have to travel through the city to get to that plant, and if there is a spill or if something happens, that is going to impact everyone. It's not going to just impact down there because it's all going to depend on where that incident occurs, who gets impacted by it. Because the truck's not going to miraculously land at South Main Street or Sergeant's Way. It has to travel.
Right.
So it could impact, and if something happens and it requires response, hazmat response, public safety response. So if everybody's down there tied up with something, that affects the response you might get for fire service or I might get for fire service if something else occurs while there's a spill or something there. So it's all tied together. So people who may live in the city who think because I live down there, I don't live near there, it's not going to impact me. I think they're wrong. I think everybody needs to really pay attention and to really seriously look into the issue and not think because I live at the Stoughton line or the Holbrook line or whatever, that it's not going to impact me, because it very well could.
There's no question about that.